gambling goose cast. It's the gambling goose cast. It's the gambling goose cast. It's the gambling goose cast. If you're a sports fan and wanna bet, this is the right place. Just write your picks on the internet, and I'll put them all together in one parlay. Put it in the books, yeah.
Welcome to episode 11 of the Gambling Goosecast, the greatest gambling podcast this side of the Mississippi. This episode is brought to you by Bloodsport. Jean-Claude Van Damme stars as Frank Dukes, a U.S. soldier who travels to Hong Kong to compete in the Kumite, a secret underground fight competition to see who the greatest fighter in the world is.
Bloodsport, the true story of the ultimate champion.
Well, last week's bets didn't pan out again, going 0 for 4 in parlays and 4 and 5 in single bets. Let's recap. Parlay 1, bet 1. Packers +3 at the Seahawks. And this was Rodney's pick. Well, this game started out looking like a shootout with Green Bay leading 21-17 at half. And then the second half started. Talk about a change of pace. Green Bay only put up 3 points while Seattle put up 10 to win the game, 27-24. But this game should not have ended with Seattle winning. The reason it did? Mike McCarthy's terrible coaching skills. 2 major plays. 1, not challenging a 34-yard pass to Tyler Lockett that was clearly an incomplete pass that put the Seahawks in the red zone and it eventually gave them the lead. Now, it makes no sense. Seattle did not rush up. There was an injury on the field. Yeah, we only had 1 timeout left, but don't you have guys looking at replays? It was clearly not a catch. The second play, not going for it on 4th and 2 when you only have 1 timeout left and less than 4 minutes on the clock when your defense has been getting steamrolled all game. You have Aaron Rodgers. Use him. 4th and 2. You have to go for it, McCarthy. The writing is on the wall. Fire Mike McCarthy. This bet ended as a push, making Rodney's record 3-3-1. And the parlay 0-0-1. Bet 2. This is Tyler Hines' pick. Spurs +5.5 against the Clippers. This game was a nail-biter. A couple missed free throws at the end. Squeaked this bet by, and the final score was 116-111. The Clippers winning, but the Spurs cover. Tyler's record is now 3-4-1, and the parlay 1-0-1. Bet 3. This is a little bit of fuck up on my part. Reed Earl messaged me, and he wanted to bet Utah State versus Colorado State. And the over was like 62 or something, I don't know. Well, of course, because I'm an idiot, I go in Bovada and I see Utah is playing Colorado, and I just pick it. And the over was 48, which did not hit. Utah won 30-7, and there was a snowstorm there, so I figured it wasn't going to hit as soon as I saw that. I'll take the L on this one. And my record is now 4-6, and the parlay is now 1-1-1, and is a big fat loser. Parlay 2, my MMA parlay. Bet 1, Michel Prazeres, -190 versus Bartosz Fabinski. This fight was quick. Prazeres dropped Fabinski in the first minute with a right hook bomb. Beat him up on the ground for a bit before eventually finishing him with a guillotine choke, making that bet a win, and the parlay 1-0. My record is now 5-6. Bet 2, Cynthia Calvillo, +125 versus Poyana Boitello. This fight was pretty even to start with both fighters landing multiple strikes. Calvillo eventually, though, got the takedown, and it was only a matter of time before finishing Boitello with a first-round rear naked choke. Another victory for this parlay, making it 2-0. Opened my record to 6-6. Bet 3, Neil Magny plus 245 versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Well, Neil Magny was the heavy underdog for a reason, and I knew that. But I figured he was going to push the pace, get in Ponzinibbio's face, and pressure him the entire fight, making him tired. That was the complete opposite of what happened. Ponzinibbio did all of that, proving why he was the heavy favorite, clearly winning every round, and eventually finishing Magny in the 4th round, making this parlay 2-1. And a big fat loser. My record is now 6-7. Parlay 3. Bet 1. Gus Senior's lock of the week. Texans -3 against the Redskins. This game sucked. Not only did we not win, but we got close because Texans won 23-21. But the Texans kicker, Kaimi, however you ever say his name, Fairbairn, missed 2 field goals and 1 extra point. And the Texans won by 2. Missing a push by 1 and a win by 2 points. Thanks a lot, buddy. Do your fucking job. Make some field goals. Just make them. I know it sounds easy on my part, and I don't care what your job is. Just do it. Get it done. This parlay is 0-1, and Gus Senior's record is now 6-3-1. Bet 2, Chuck's pick. Chiefs plus 3.5 against the Rams, and this was the most ridiculous game I've ever seen in my entire life. It was like watching a classic game of Tecmo Super Bowl between Gus Senior and I, with me winning, of course. Because old men can't play video games. The final score was 54-51 with the Rams taking the victory, but the Chiefs covering plus 3.5, making this parlay 1-1, and Chuck's record is now 2-3. Bet 3, Minnesota Bob, Chiefs versus Rams under 64. Nope. Not even close. Parlay record 1-2 for this, and Bob's record is now 6-2. That recaps last week's bets. Our single bet record is now 25-24-1, and we're up $9. And our parlay record is now 2-42, and we're down $659.29.
Loser! You're a loser! Are you feeling sorry for yourself? Well, you should be, because you are dirt! You make me sick, you big baby!
Well, this week's bets, we're changing it up again since I keep losing parlays. I'm up in the single bet wager to 10 apiece, and I'm just going to do one big parlay like we started this podcast for $10 because I need to pay rent. Bet 1. Tyler Hines calls in again. Let's hear what he has to say.
Gambling Goose Cast. Pick of the week here. I'm going to go NBA slate again. I am now 2-0 in the last 2 weeks, or 2-0 since entering the NBA slate. I think I'm going to stick with that. I've been doing a little, some small parlays, some small parlays on the side myself to decent success, a hell of a lot more success than I was having with the NFL. So try and keep it rolling. As always, I'm nervous to be choosing from a slate of games that's the first of the week of, Bill's parlays he's about to set up. So hopefully I can keep my streak going and start your Thanksgiving break off right. I like the Phoenix Suns plus 1.5 on Bovada. The Suns are going into Chicago to play the Bulls. The Bulls just played a pretty solid first half this past week against the Bucks, and it was fool's gold. It was fugazi because the Bulls were shooting astronomically well. Like, they were shooting out of their ass in the first half, and they built this lead, and I think that lead that they built was more so about the Bucks playing badly and not matching them than it was, the Bulls having anything of threatening nature, because past Zach LaVine, who has put that entire team on his shoulders and is playing individually really well, the Bulls do not have a lot of options. I saw this line opened at +1 for the Suns, and I think the young core of Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton and some of the pieces that the Suns have, they're a scrappy, young, competitive team. They're not a win-now team, but I think that they can go into Chicago, weather the road storm, and I think that they have enough to compete. And as soon as I saw on Bovada that the line moved in the Suns' favor at all, some sports books have them up to +2. So, wait out as late as you can. If that line moves at all, I like the Suns on the road in Chicago. I think they can definitely win that game. So have a good Thanksgiving, and hopefully we can keep it rolling.
All right, Tyler, thanks for that bet. The line for that changed to -1, but I'm still taking it. I mean, you called in +1.5. If they lose by 1, I won't give you the loss on that. But we're going to put it in the books. Suns -1 at -110. Next bet, bet 2. Reed Earl is calling in for the first time. Let's hear it.
Hey, Gambling Goose. This is Twitter user Reed Earl. I love the Gambling Goose podcast because of the Simpsons reference at the end. And the picks aren't bad either. But let me give you this week's pick, because Thursday is a game for football, and thanks must be given. I'm going on the over for the Washington-Dallas game, because there's going to be more points, and their points will give us money. Good luck on your parlays, Mr. Gambling Goose, and have a great weekend. And put it in the books.
Well, he likes points, and I like points. AP will have 2 TDs. Zeke will have 2 TDs. McCoy will have 1. Dak will have 2. Exact stats. Put it in the books. Redskins versus Cowboys. Over 41 at -110. Bet 3. Rod Eggers. Take it away, Rod.
Hey, Goosecast listeners. This is Rodney calling back again. This week we're going to do tomorrow night's game, Saints and Falcons. Going Falcons +13.5. I don't know what Vegas is thinking again this week with this game. Saints, I don't know. Their spreads and over-unders have been kind of weird this year. But 13.5 in a conference game, especially Atlanta, whose offense is, they got a lot of firepower, and Matt Ryan has always played great against the Saints. I think he averages something like almost 290 passing yards and close to 2 touchdowns against them through his career. I just got a feeling that, the Saints defense, sure, it's looked good, but Philly, last week going against Philly, they're an absolute mess. And then I thought, myself, I thought Cincy would put up some points against their defense, but Cincy's looked a little lost without A.J. Green, so I think that kind of factored into that one. I wouldn't look too much into New Orleans D after these last 2 games. I think Matt Ryan, might not do like he did the first game this year where he went 370 and 5 touchdowns. I think he gets 300 and at least a couple touchdowns, and this game's closer in the 13.5 point spread that they got. So we're going to go with Atlanta, 13.5. Put it in the books.
I agree, Rod. Division game, must win for the Falcons. Way too big of a spread. Put it in the books. Falcons +13.5 at -115. Bet 4, my pick. Well, my pick this week is going to be for the Tiger and Phil match. I'm taking Tiger in this. Tiger always has and always will be better than Phil, and Phil cannot handle it. Just face it, Phil. While Tiger was taking sleeping pills and banging bras on the side when you were practicing, he's still better than you. You'll always be in the shadows of the GOAT. So put it in the books. Tiger, minus 200. Bet 5, Gus Sr.'s lock of the week. This should be interesting.
Hi, this is Gus Sr. calling in for this week's lock of the week. I had it last week. Texas missed a field goal. Would have made it, they would have covered the spread. I think my record now is like 6-3-1 or 7-3-1. I'm not sure. Anyway, I decided not to watch that Viking game on Sunday night. I opted for some better entertainment. I watched reruns of Gilligan's Island on the Comet Channel. Much better entertainment. They almost cut off that damn island this time. I'm staying with Houston again, minus 6 at home to Tennessee. They're hot. They're winning. They're going to win that division. I'm not going to break anything down. J.J. Watt's playing good. They got one of the best wideouts in the league. I don't know much about Tennessee. I haven't even looked at how they're doing. I'm just going to stay with Houston, minus 6. At least that's the side I'm on. I couldn't get Bovada to come up. Anyway, I thought about betting on the Green Bay Minnesota game, going against my rules because I'd never bet on Green Bay. Then I see that Green Bay's only minus 3. So I think the Vikings will cover that. If it would have been 6 or 7, I probably would have taken the Packers. But I'm not going to take the Pack minus 3. Anyway, did anybody see that cheap shot that Harrison Smith put on Trubisky? I saw replays of it. Was anything called on that? Was he ejected? I mean, that was one of the cheapest shots I've ever seen. I mean, I know Vikings like to take out quarterbacks, but that one there was so obvious it was ridiculous. Anyway, everybody have a good Thanksgiving. We will talk next week. Again, Houston, minus 6 at home to Tennessee. Thanks.
Hey, weird Gus. You're watching more terrible TV shows. And also, weird Gus, you picked the Texans again. Oh, my God. I like the pick, though. Put it in the books. Houston, Texans, minus 6 at minus 110. Well, we won't be able to parlay all 5 bets because at the moment the Texans line is not up on Bovada and the Suns game is tonight. So I had to decide, and we're just going to parlay 4 of them. So the parlay is going to be Tiger minus 200, Falcons plus 13.5 at minus 115, Redskins versus Cowboys over 41 at minus 110, Suns minus 1 at minus 110, and we're betting $10 to win $92.21. So there you have it. Hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. I know I will. Turkey. Said no one ever. Just give me a goddamn steak and put it in the books.
Turkey time, turkey time. Turkey time, turkey time. Turkey time, turkey time. Turkey time, turkey time. Gobble, 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 stop. 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 Turkey time, turkey time. Turkey time.
Huh? Come on, you need human contact. Touch it. I will not touch it. What are you doing? Stop it. Stop it.
I know how you're feeling right now.
Stop it. Stop it. Don't do that.
I'm here for you.
Don't do that. Jesus Christ, you're gonna get me killed. Out of here.
Oh, Billy.